brought to you by Vision Express. KUAM News Headlines is presented by Calvo's Insurance, serving Guam for 80 years. Matson and the Adai Itano program. All new 2018 Kona by Hyundai, available at Cars Plus. IP&E Fueling Excellence, McDonald's of Guam, I'm Loving It, and King's Restaurant, located in Tamuning and Dededo. Always open, always local.
A hit on primetime violent videos gone viral leads to the arrest of 2 people. And FEMA charters the world's largest jet to rush relief supplies to Guam and the neighboring islands. Plus, the question many island residents are asking. Carmen Victoria Chalahi has an update on when power will be restored.
Half a day and good evening.
Delays as a result of Typhoon Mangkhut have been widespread. The Election Commission even holding off on a meeting to certify the primary election results.
That's right, Chris. The discussion is happening at the GEC headquarters tonight. Nessa DeConto joins us with more. Ness?
Half-a-day Election Commission conference room where we are expected to find out whether the primary election will be certified. I'm speaking a little softly because, as you can see behind me, the Election Commission meeting is in progress. Believe it or not, the counting is not done yet. There are about 144 absentee, provisional, and e-ballots that still need to be counted. They're doing that right now. Once that's all counted and verified, they will be placed into the machine and counted. And after that machine count, they will be tallied and they will be added to the final total. And we do expect a motion to certify after that. And I'm told, barring any unforeseen circumstances, that vote will take place and the primary elections results will be certified. Right now, we have Lou Leangaro and Josh Tenorio, the Democratic gubernatorial nominees. Tenorio and Tony Ada for the Republicans, and Michael St. Nicholas. And as you can see, they're still into the ballot count and the results of the certification vote as soon as it's available. Back to you guys in the studio.
Multiple reports of violence caught on camera. The incidents are keeping local police busy as they juggle responding to calls and post-typhoon recovery efforts. Nick?
Yeah, no link to the incidents at this point. Now, one of those alarming videos is captured by an officer with the Navy security forces. The situation leading to at least 2 people being placed under arrest.
A violent night at the Aganis Shopping Center parking lot. Similar images circulating overnight, this one at Amontes Street in Dededo. Guam police now investigating.
Your video, they're fighting.
Police confirming a law enforcement officer with the Navy security forces caught the group in the act. The images showing at least 4 people at the front of the Dededo home. A couple of them holding what appears to be baseball bats, another with a machete.
Call 911. Call 911.
Suspects are then seen hitting one of the victims' pickup truck. Another throws a glass bottle towards the house before they take off down the street. That's when the officer filming was caught in the crossfire.
I'm a police officer.
The suspect steps off after hearing that.
You want to hit me? Huh? Sorry, sir. I'm a police officer. Don't worry. Get the out of here. Sorry about that. Don't worry about it. Don't say sorry. Don't say sorry.
We've been to those guys like 3 days in a row. They actually started trouble like 2 days before this happened, and so we just, we thought it would stop, but I guess it didn't, and then finally they hit us hard.
We caught up with Noah, one of the victims, at his home Wednesday morning.
They got my family involved, you know what I mean? Not physically, but that hurt us emotionally.
His family still shaken, including his 82-year-old grandmother, who had to go to the hospital following the riot.
My grandma was standing right here. They threw that, almost hit her. They threw rocks, they bashed my truck, everything. So it was just, it's hard.
The trouble, Noah says, stirred up over several days out of nowhere.
They're always the trouble ones over there. You can ask any ones.
Authorities arrested 19-year-old Emmanuel Resolop on charges of aggravated assault, criminal mischief, and disorderly conduct. A 16-year-old boy is also charged with criminal mischief and disorderly conduct and taken to DYA.
Now, in response to the viral videos, police say they are working with various non-government and non-profit organizations along with GDOE and their neighborhood watch programs to address the issue.
A man is rushed to Naval Hospital on Wednesday afternoon after an industrial accident at Benson's Hardware. Guam Fire Department responded to the Mighty store just after 1 p.m. The man was reportedly unloading doors from a shipping container at the time of the accident. CPR was conducted en route. Naval Hospital officials have confirmed he has passed away.
Defense attorney David Lujan is calling the court out, specifically Judge Maria Senzon, for holding his client, defendant Joseph Sagdal, hostage. Sagdal is the shooting instructor charged in a double murder near the Hemlani Harmon apartments late last year. Though he's made repeated attempts to get out of jail, the court hasn't entertained his latest motion to post real property in lieu of $500,000 cash bail. Lack of action has resulted in defense's motion to have Senzon dropped from the case. According to Lujan, Judge Senzon is close friends with the government's star witness in a federal drug case. Lujan alleges the judge is holding his client, quote, hostage as a way of retaliating against him for his work in that federal case. Judge Senzon in court documents responded by stating she did not report her association with the witness because their membership in the same organization shouldn't be misinterpreted as an intimate friendship. She further argued that defense is judge shopping and then recused herself last month. Judge Elise Iriarte is now assigned to the case, defense continuing to push for Sagdal's release from jail, noting that clinical psychologist Dr. Juan Rapadas examined his client and concluded the defendant lacked the capacity to know or understand what he was doing or to know or understand what his conduct was wrongful, and that he was unable to control his actions, and that Sagdal is not a danger to the community or to himself. A Guam police officer accused of driving drunk before crashing his unmarked unit pleaded not guilty in court today. Dennis Anthony Kang Santos is facing charges of vehicular negligence, driving while impaired with a child on board, and reckless driving with property damage for that July 4th accident near Kmart. The police officer, 3, waived his rights to a speedy trial and is scheduled to return to court on October 22nd.
A former high-ranking executive of Lotte Duty Free has been indicted in a South Korean court on white-collar crime charges. The indictment accuses him in part of passing on highly confidential information to Lotte business rival DFS regarding the $150 million Guam Airport retail concessionaire contract. Nestor Lacanto reports.
The indictment filed by the Seoul Southern District Prosecutor's Office accuses former Lotte executive S.Y. Lee of violating the Unfair Competition Prevention and Trade Secret Protection Act. The document states Lee resigned from Lotte when he thought he would be passed over for a promotion to company director. Prosecutors allege that he later met in Hong Kong with a top DFS executive identified as Andrew Ford, and that he allegedly passed on confidential information about Lotte's plans for new businesses in 11 countries, including Guam. Among the documents Lee allegedly provided included the bid proposal for the 2013 retail concession contract and other highly sensitive financial, operational, conceptual, and marketing strategies. Prosecutors say such disclosures are prohibited by Lee's confidentiality agreement. They allege that he released the trade secrets for the purpose of taking improper profits or causing damage to his former employer. In a statement, Lotte Korea attorney Jin Park described the alleged scheme involving global competitor DFS as truly regrettable and outrageous. Lotte's Guam counsel Cesar Cabot says Lotte believes there is a connection between the indictment and allegations of stealing trade secrets involving the GIAA duty-free RFP and the pending lawsuits between Lotte, DFS, and GIAA. Local Lotte Council has also filed new motions in its legal battle with DFS. One of the filings asks the court to take judicial notice of the indictment and pause all proceedings until the Guam Supreme Court rules on the airport's appeal of Judge Arthur Barcenas' decision earlier this year that voided the GIAA Lotte deal and ordered the contract to be rebid. For Guam's News Network, I'm Nestor Lacanto.
DFS local counsel Pat Seville says the company denies any wrongdoing and denies DFS was trying to extract the confidential information. He says it was disgruntled former Lotte employee who approached DFS about alleged misconduct. Seville says more importantly, S.Y. Lee's alleged involvement surfaced long after the retail concession bid proposals were submitted.
Well, stick around for more news here on Primetime.
You're watching KUAM.
There are more ways to experience Guam via KUAM News, giving you what you want, when you want, and how you want it. From smart devices, Alexa, what's in the news?
Here's your flash briefing.
Over the web, on mobile, on streaming platforms, with immersive, interactive formats, and via social media where it's more than just content, it's conversation. More ways to keep you informed and entertained whenever you want it, wherever you are, on whatever device you're using.
When we face an uncertain path, when we struggle with life's challenges, and when the unexpected happens, it's a beautiful day. We rely on the people we trust, it's a beautiful, who we can always count on. And the ones who give us the most care throughout the years. Rely on Calvo's Select Care to give you the comfort and security you need wherever you are. Calvo's Select Care, healthcare that's always there for you.
Self-storage, conveniently located near the Harmon McDonald's. We offer affordable rates, online payments, and auto bill pay for your convenience. Plus gate access daily from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. Call us today at 648-7867 for more information.
Half a day, hungry drivers. Are you spending more time on the road? Shell has teamed up with Wendy's so you can buy fuel and eat free. Just fuel up 7 gallons at any Shell station and get a coupon for a Wendy's cheeseburger or chicken nuggets. Or use 2 coupons to redeem a Wendy's cheeseburger meal with fries and a drink. Fuel up at Shell today because this deal won't last long. Quality service, fuel and food from Shell and Wendy's.
I registered to vote because I understand it's important for my voice to be heard, especially concerning issues that will affect me and my island.
So whether you're young
or young at heart,
please register.
Zambota.
Afade, I'm Simon Sanchez. I'm running for the CCU and I approve this message. Let's continue our progress.
Hafide and welcome back. If you were outside earlier today, you may have spotted these beasts in the sky. 2 Ukrainian cargo planes chartered by the Federal Emergency Management Agency have landed on Guam. They rarely take flight but have arrived with supplies for Guamanians and our neighbors up north following Typhoon Mangkhut. KUAM this afternoon got an up-close look at the planes as it unloaded precious cargo. Here's more. Typhoon Mangkhut brought the heavy winds and rain, and it also brought in these. Some of the biggest aircrafts in the world. It takes 6 engines to power up one of these million-pound machines. You're looking at 2 Antonov planes chartered by FEMA to bring supplies to replenish their warehouse here on Guam, as well as to bring supplies to Rota. Inside, 90,000 liters of water and 140,000 shelf-stable meals. That's almost enough to give a meal to every resident on island. FEMA's David Gervino is just one of 100 officials who arrived over the weekend in anticipation of Typhoon Mangkhut's hit. While they're here on Guam and the CNMI to help with recovery efforts, Gervino clarifies they're not here to replace safeguards you should have already had in place, like insurance coverage.
Even if a disaster declaration is to be granted, a presidential declaration, and that declaration does include individual assistance, which is where individuals and families can apply for FEMA assistance, that assistance is really meant to just help people have a safe, habitable, secure place to live. It's not meant to make people whole again. It's not meant to replace insurance. So if people lost really valuable things, furniture, had a lot of extensive damage, FEMA assistance is not going to bring everything to where it was before.
Turns out locals weathered the storm fairly well.
I was so impressed by the people of Guam and by the government of Guam, by the resiliency, by the preparedness efforts, the way the infrastructure held up to such a strong typhoon, and the spirit of the people here.
Most of the supplies that arrived Wednesday will be stored at a distribution center co-located with the military. That supply also fully stocked. Water supply for 2,000 people, meanwhile, will be sent to Rota on Thursday.
But it's a testament to the people of Guam and the private sector here in Guam that things that we're not having to use those. Because what happens is if FEMA or the federal government is giving things out, that's not helping the local economy. It's a testament to Guam that businesses are open today, that people can go buy these things for themselves.
The last time FEMA chartered Antonov planes was last year in Hawaii to respond to Hurricane Lane and for Puerto Rico's Hurricane Maria. Congresswoman Madeline Bordallo is asking President Donald Trump to declare a federal emergency for Guam following Typhoon Mangkhut. The president has already done so for the CNMI. A federal emergency declaration would allow federal resources to be made available to assist Gov Guam and local families and businesses with recovery efforts.
Typhoon Mangkhut might be out of our area, but many are still left in the dark. Guamanians across the island keep asking, when's the power coming back? Carmen Chalahi has more.
The power was still out when we met Maria Carmen Yata up north in Jigo across Simon Sanchez High.
We had the power since the night of the typhoon, and then after that, it was gone.
Keeping her and her grandkids cool with manual fans. At night, she's prepared with extra candles and flashlights.
Well, that's how it is. We cannot control Mother Nature, so we have to wait until the power resumes. It's not normal for everyday living, but we have to be patient.
Playing the waiting game since the storm until Wednesday morning when she spotted a GPA crew on her street. Ken Conception, a meter electrician leader, says rain or shine, GPA is working to fix your lines.
We got guys all over the island try to fix the lines, everything. Got the overhead crew in the south, the underground crew in the north, central. Yeah, everybody's trying to get everything up and going. GPA is working hard, man. Be patient. The guys they're tired. They're working hard. So please be patient with us and we'll get it done.
Maria Carmen was grateful, now just waiting for the okay to flip the switch.
I saw the crew a while ago, like 2 hours ago. Thank you so much to the crew for their, dedication and commitment to their work.
Reporting for Guam Seas Network, I'm Carmen Victoria Terlahi.
And Carmen adds, as of news time, GPA has not provided an update, but Governor Eddie Calvo said that the Guam National Guard will be providing assistance with power restorations and security at the shelters as well.
Speaking of no power, only 21 public schools are opening on Thursday. The half remaining are still waiting for power, running water, and cleanup from shelters. We have the full list of schools that are back in class online on KUAM.com. But in the meantime, here's more from cleanup efforts on Wednesday.
The cafeteria was dark at FB Leon Guerrero Middle School in Jigo, where we caught up with GDOE Superintendent John Fernandez. He says the electricity that runs lights, aircon, refrigeration for food, and much more is a major reason public schools were not in session Tuesday.
I think the major one is power. So if I hear the school's up and there's some food distribution issue, we'll work out those problems, but we can't overcome the power problem.
That's just one of the problems the storm blew to all 41 of Guam's public schools.
It's mostly flooding and leaks that happen during the rain. And then I think there's some schools that have major debris issues. So there may be some cleanup like you see out here in front, but some had big trees that fell over fence lines and things like that.
Though even with night shifts at shelters, GDOE employees continue to tidy up schools to get classes back in session.
Once we open schools, we feel a confidence that we're able to support the kids who are able to come to school. So they'll have a safe environment. There'll be power, there'll be water, there'll be shelter. We've got nurses at schools. We've got food that we're able to feed every child.
The issue to reopen schools after Typhoon Mangkhut wasn't isolated to just GDOE. Tony Diaz, communications director for the Archdiocese of Agana, says they're also working overtime to get power and water properly running to open all 14 Catholic schools Thursday. Reporting for Guam News Network, I'm Carmen Victoria Turlahi.
Meantime, Guahan Academy Charter School and iLearn Academy also plan to have class on Thursday. Again, you can view the full list of schools open. That's 21 GDOE schools opening Thursday on our website on KUAM.com.
Well, we met Typhoon Mangkhut victim Isabel Perez yesterday. Perez and her family lost their home in the storm, and today she takes Chris Barnett back to her home to share more of her story.
Isabel Perez and her family will be starting over. Typhoon Mangkhut took her family's roof, destroying most of their possessions in the process. Forced to take shelter at a nearby school during the height of Mangkhut's passage, Isabel and the family had no idea they'd lost everything until they went back home the next day.
We all cried when we saw my mom break down, and she was saying it to herself that if if it's not livable, she's worried about our children. Just watching her cry was emotional. It hurt to see your mother cry because your father put all his work into a 20-some year. We've been 20-some years old, and only this typhoon took our home. So to see my mom cry like that, it's emotional.
Perez, her young children, and her mother, Doris Gogui, now living at the Northern Shelter at the Estumbo Gym. Perez showed us the kids' room, where beds were soaked and the ceiling opened up to blue skies. Just a couple of days ago, these skies full of typhoon-force winds and torrential rains. Now, the family stays in a 10-foot by 10-foot square, sharing 2 bathrooms with nearly 300 other people who have been displaced by Typhoon Mangkhut.
There's no place like home, and to have it taken away from you, it's pretty sure it's going to hurt you too.
She tells KUAM News prayer and family have held them together, but they're still coping with how they'll get back on their feet again.
Pray for everybody, just not us, but everybody else that lost their home. Because it does hurt. It really does hurt to come home and then knowing you have nowhere to take your babies. It does hurt.
At the Estumbo Gym, families mingling with one another. Some slept in the breezy gym, while these children passed the time playing cards. So what has it been like for you guys here?
Awesome.
You having fun?
Yeah.
Back at Isabel's family home, she showed us a statue of the Virgin Mary that weathered the storm. While the house's roof blew away and the family's belongings were destroyed by wind and water, this statue stayed put. Perez telling us she believes Mother Mary did her best to protect the home.
We just come and my mom would burn the candle and pray to her and tell her, thank you, at least you gave us something.
Guam Congresswoman Madeline Bradallo pushing President Trump to declare Guam a federal disaster area, and that would open up federal assistance for Perez and others who have suffered devastating loss because of Mangkhut.
If there's no state of emergency, as you can see, we're going to end up using the same tins, and then the next storm comes, blows it away, we're just probably going to do the same thing.
For Guam's News Network, I'm Chris Barnett.
They're taking care of man's best friend after Typhoon Mangkhut. Veterinarians from Gain held a free clinic all day Wednesday. Even with no power, they had the willpower to take care of our furry patients in need. Dr. Jessica Perpich, visiting Guam from Okinawa for the free spay and neuter clinic that was canceled, still managed to lend a hand.
So instead, we've been, helping with the evacuation of the animals, getting them back, cleaning kennels. We went on a couple runs yesterday for hit by car dogs that needed attention. So we're just trying to put our skills to use wherever we can here since we're not doing surgery.
If you have or spot an animal in need, you are encouraged to bring them to Gain in Jigo. As for an update on recovery in hard-hit Rota, according to CNMI's governor's office, all government agencies on the island will reopen on Thursday However, all Rota residents are urged to be extremely careful when on the roads and around damaged public structures. As we reported, members of the military as well as FEMA are already on the ground there. The CNMI Governor's Office is allocating and prioritizing the necessary government resources for recovery and mass care assistance in Rota. Meantime, damage assessments for public and residential buildings are continuing on all 3 islands.
Well, it's that time again to bring you more candidates who will be making their way to the general election this November. Joining our Jason Salas on D18 tonight will be Democrat senatorial candidate Jermaine Alerta and Republican senatorial candidate Ben Servino. It's your chance to interact with the candidates. Watch our live stream on Facebook and post your questions in the comment section so we can get it to them. Then at 7:30, join us for a special fall premiere edition of the After Party streaming on Facebook. Our guest with our candidates for governor and lieutenant governor, Lulian Guerrero and Josh Tenorio, as well as analysts Adrian Cruz and Dr. Ron McNinch. We should note, we did invite the Republican team of Ray Tenorio and Tony Addett, but they were not available at this time designated for the taping.
Stick around for more news here on Primetime.
Sports is next.